The Biden administration is taking its fight against Facebook to the next level. It's looking into how to hold social media platforms liable for publishing misinformation. This comes as President Biden clarified the statement he made last week when he said Facebook's misinformation was, quote, killing people. He's since backtracked and said Facebook isn't killing people, but he hopes they'll do something about vaccine misinformation. And 52 years ago today, the first man on the moon. Today, Jeff Bezos blasted off into a new frontier, paving the way for space tourism. Tune in to Deep Dive as we explore these topics and more. Hello and welcome. This is Deep Dive and I'm Tiffany Meier. Let's kick off today with a face-off between President Biden and Facebook. Biden on Monday walked back his criticism of Facebook and other social media companies. He had said the tech giants were, quote, killing people for allowing the spread of alleged misinformation surrounding vaccines.
Platforms like Facebook are killing people?
Facebook isn't killing people. These 12 people are out there giving misinformation. Anyone listening to it is getting hurt by it. It's killing people.
He referenced a study that said a dozen accounts on Facebook are mainly responsible for the spread of COVID-19 misinformation on the platform. Biden attempted to qualify his statement.
My hope is that Facebook, instead of taking it personally that somehow I'm saying Facebook is killing people, that they would do something about the misinformation, the outrageous misinformation about the vaccine. That's what I mean.
Biden did not elaborate on how the administration might penalize Facebook for not adhering to White House officials' recent statements. A reporter asked how he might hold Facebook and other platforms accountable. Biden responded by saying, I am trying to make people look at themselves, look in the mirror, think about that misinformation going to your son, your daughter. That's all I'm asking. Over the weekend, Facebook had defended its approach, saying over 2 billion people have viewed authoritative information on COVID-19 and vaccines on its platform. The Biden administration this month ramped up its rhetoric around vaccines after it missed its July 4th deadline to have 70% of Americans vaccinated. In Facebook's response, the company agreed with Biden's, quote, whole of society approach regarding the pandemic, saying since January, vaccine acceptance on the part of Facebook users in the U.S. has increased by 10 to 15 percentage points. That means from 70% up to 85%. They went on to say the data shows that 85% of Facebook users in the U.S. have been or want to be vaccinated against COVID-19. President Biden's goal was for 70% of Americans to be vaccinated by July 4th. Facebook is not the reason this goal was missed. They also noted the success of their vaccine profile frames, developed in partnership with the CDC and the Department of Health and Human Service, saying more than 50% in the U.S. have seen someone use those frames that Facebook is encouraging everyone to use these tools to show their friends they've been vaccinated. The Biden administration is taking its fight against Facebook to the next level. The administration is looking into how social media platforms could be held legally accountable for publishing misinformation. As of now, the companies are protected under Section 230, a law that provides legal immunity to websites that moderate user-generated content. The White House is calling on social media companies to take a more aggressive stance on combating misinformation. Last week, Press Secretary Jen Psaki said people who post alleged misinformation on Facebook should be banned on that platform as well as others. On Monday, she said the administration is not in a war with Facebook, but in a war with the virus. Psaki also said that the White House is in regular contact with social media platforms and has flagged with Facebook what she described as harmful posts. She also claimed that about a dozen people produce 65% of anti-vaccine information on social media and suggested those people should be banned. Several Republican lawmakers say they think the administration will attempt to pressure social media companies into censoring information to gain an advantage at the polls. And not everyone thinks it's enough. The Surgeon General told Fox News on Sunday that Facebook hasn't done enough to remove such misinformation from its platform. He told the platform it's not enough. Misinformation is still spreading. We are still, despite some of the actions that they have taken, seeing significant spread of misinformation. This health misinformation is hurting people's health. It's costing them their lives. He goes on to say, I am asking these companies to step up and take responsibility for what's happening on their sides. Now, as to upping the legal pressure, America First Legal filed a slew of Freedom of Information Act requests last Friday. They are seeking details on federal government communications relating to the Biden administration's effort to push big tech to censor speech. America First Legal, or AFL, is run by former Trump administration officials. The document's requests went out to the Department of Health and Human Services, the CDC, the FDA, and the NIH. It seeks records about any efforts to flag COVID-19 related, quote, misinformation or disinformation to any social media company and all communications with the social media companies about the efforts. Former acting U.S. Attorney General Matthew Whitaker and an America First Legal board member told NTD that Psaki, quote, from the White House press room, announced that the federal government is coordinating with social media platforms to silence Americans' voices. They go on to say, it sounds like they are running some sort of a shadow information quality department in the White House, where they are telling social media about problematic posts, and then the social media folks take that down. They go on to note that's clearly a violation of Americans' First Amendment rights. It is inconsistent with our long history. The government has no ability to suppress speech, and that's exactly what it's doing right here. Whitaker said in his time at the Department of Justice, he didn't see the type of coordination he believes Americans are witnessing now. He believes the document requests will reveal whether Facebook and others are acting on all of the flag posts or whether they're acting with some type of discretion. And top Trump advisor and America First Legal's president, Stephen Miller, said in a statement, the casual ease with which Psaki practically bragged about directing big tech to silence Americans is chilling. Authoritarian countries, not democracies, censor and blacklist their citizens. He goes on to say a tiny handful of companies control almost all communication in the U.S. The fact the White House has apparently admitted that they are acting as state agents and deplatforming Americans should horrify anyone and everyone who cares about civil liberties and the First Amendment. And now the U.S. Appeals Court for the Second Circuit in New York agreed to review decisions on big tech Section 230 immunity. The court will review a lower court's ruling that Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act protects big tech companies from civil rights liability in censorship cases. The case up for review is Daemen v. Vimeo. It came about after Vimeo terminated Church United's video streaming activities. That's after it featured videos of 5 men and women who left the gay lifestyle to pursue their Christian faith. Vimeo claimed that its terms of service bar streaming videos that promote sexual orientation change therapy. A federal district court had previously ruled in favor of Vimeo, and a 3-judge panel of the Second Circuit upheld the lower court's ruling. But the panel's ruling will be reheard before the entire Second Circuit. The Second Circuit covers 6 federal district courts in 3 states, including New York, Connecticut, and Vermont. The circuit has 10 active judges, as well as 13 semi-retired senior judges. And now, before we end, let's take a moment to catch up with space. 52 years ago today, the iconic phrase, that's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind, when Neil Armstrong first set foot on the moon. And now, 52 years later, a big step of a different kind. Jeff Bezos blasted off into space, a big step for space tourism. Inside a 4-person crew, including billionaire and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his brother Mark.
Oh my God! My expectations were high and they were dramatically exceeded.
The quick but historic 11-minute flight launched them more than 65 miles above Earth, experiencing 4 minutes of weightlessness and a thrill of a lifetime.
Oh, wow. It does change you. It does change you. You have to look out the window.
Returning to Earth only a few moments later.
And touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard's first human crew.
Welcomed home by friends and loved ones. For Bezos, the venture to space fulfilling a lifelong dream.
Best day ever.
and I couldn't pick a best part.
The historic crew also included the youngest and oldest people ever to go to space, 18-year-old Oliver Daemen and 82-year-old aviation pioneer Wally Funk.
This experience you should share with more and more people. It's so amazing.
We had a great time. It was wonderful. I want to go again, fast.
This is the second private space flight in 9 days. The goal, forging a new frontier in space tourism and exploration.
We're going to build a road to space so that our kids and their kids can build the future.
And for those wondering, billionaire Richard Branson beat Bezos with his flight into space aboard the Virgin Galactic. Branson was 10 days ahead, but Bezos managed to set a different record. Branson hit an altitude of 53.5 miles, while Bezos reached 65 miles. That's passing the invisible boundary to outer space known as the Kármán line. But what do you think? Let me know below. Thanks for tuning in to Deep Dive. I'm Tiffany Meier, and see you soon.